Boom. We're in weekend mode. Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage Draft Guru. If you like the video, subscribe, give it a like, hit the hype up button. Also, click the notifications so you know when I go live. I put the saga of Diego Pavia just in thumbnail. Just people are making this kid out like he's a serial killer. I don't see a big deal. Diego Pavia, quarterback. We're gonna go back. He's 6'2", 210. He ain't 6 foot. I give you the good and the bad. So he's probably like 5'10". They also have him listed at 210. He's probably like $185. Amazing creations, boom. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Now, he was at 2 years at New Mexico State Aggies. Then he transferred and he did 2 years at Vanderbilt. Now, if you go by his stats from his 4 years in college, 10,300 yards passing, 88 touchdowns, 27 interceptions. That's over 4 seasons. But the kid is good with his legs. He had 630 rushes for 3,100 yards and an additional 31 touchdowns. Now, a lot of people are making a big deal about what happened at the Heisman Trophy award winning. He was invited to New York City for the Heisman Trophy event. Of course, we all know he didn't get it. And then, he went to social media and posted some stuff. I'm like, bro, he's a young kid. I guarantee you that was his first time in New York City. If it's your first time there, you might get all excited and be crazy, even though it's a shithole. But you're taking that from somebody that just takes it for granted that, he said some derogatory words about Indiana and stuff like that. He was with him and a bunch of his friends, his teammates. They were drinking. Bro, he didn't kill anybody. Yet, in today's world, if you're not, it just seems like what's the word I'm looking for, the phrase? Savage, is this a good draft to replace the scrub? Listen, man, when it comes to quarterbacks, Sam Darnold is in the NFC Championship game. Anything's possible. Anything. But I think this is also Sam Darnold's 16. Also, I've said it a million times, teams ruin players more than, making progress, more than develop. I always have a mental block of saying that. But most teams ruin players rather than develop. But I do get it. The NFL is a win now league, especially at quarterback. But you can Google them. There's pictures of Sam Darnold in Carolina taking snaps at defensive tackle. So, like I said, this kid, he's a gunslinger, man. Everywhere. Well, he's only been in Mexico State and he's been at Vanderbilt, but he's put on shows at both places, and you can't really say he was surrounded by the greatest of greatest talent. Now, the fact that he's 5'10", probably 190, He's probably off about 32 teams in the league. Don't you love it? He's probably off like 15 teams, just off of his limitations and size. We haven't had, I mean, Drew Brees, Doug Flutie. So a lot of teams are just going to put him off, take him off their draft board. Then the stuff he did at the Heisman Trophy ceremony is going to turn some people off. Listen, man, quarterback is legit the hardest position to find. He didn't kill anybody, bro. If you like what you see on tape, bring him in for an interview, bro. There's teams out there that have 15 draft picks. Throw around 7 pick at him. There's 3 things that can happen. He has no value, and you cut him. You develop him, or if you do have a starting quarterback on your team, and he balls out every preseason game, now he has trade value. So if I was a team with a load of draft picks, like I said, I would bring him in. Because have him throw to your wide receivers. Let your coach break him down. Let him do the blackboard work. See how he processes stuff. Amazing creations. Yes, I agree with you. Perfect example is Penn State. Amazing creations. Most teams like 6'4" better. Absolutely. There's a kid from Penn State, Drew Aller. He's 6'5", 235. Horrendous. He'll get drafted. And he got hurt this year. He only played a couple games. But I can hype up 1,000 Penn State players. I say one bad thing about Drew Aller. Oh my God. They go crazy. Drew Aller sucked, bro. Drew Aller caused wide receivers to transfer, bro. But they'll draft him and they'll try to, develop him. But like I said, this kid, he has the film. He's good on his feet. One thing I did notice about him, and we won't notice until the combine. Listen, it appears that he has small hands. I was actually going to go out and buy a skit like those 2 little midget hands, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to. It's not worth it. His hands do look small. NFL has a thing where they like their quarterbacks to have big hands. Who is the bag of garbage Philadelphia Eagle quarterback? He got drafted like 1 or 2, and they cut him. I'm trying to think. Big kid, though, man. I'm trying to think of his name, man. He came out in the same draft as Trey Lance. Okay, long story short, though. He played at Philly. He didn't take him to the Super Bowl. He didn't win nothing. But there was a play when he was at Philly. He got mauled. It was a blindside sack. And he got just destroyed. And the fact that he didn't fumble that ball is truly amazing. The reason he didn't fumble that ball, he had crazy big hands. Sucked as a quarterback. He's still like, they traded him then, and he's still in the league. He played actually a couple games for the Minnesota Vikings this season, the 2020. But I'm having a mental block with his name. And the second I end this video, it'll pop into my head. But Diego Pavia looks like he has small hands. Listen, man, like I said, man, the Heisman Trophy thing, big deal, bro. He didn't, like I said, he didn't kill anybody. And this league is Tyler Green might be a steal. You know what it is? There's just so many, like the NFL. It's a win now, unless you're the Dallas Cowboys, because their general managers just draft people with like one legs and a lot of injuries, because their general managers never get fired. But if you're a GM, you got to win now. If you're a head coach, you got like a 3-year window. And it's getting. I mean, look at some of the firings besides. Okay, Harbaugh, Tomlin. They said step down. Uh, the Miami Cat. He looked like, I don't know, man. He had some off the field issues. It looked like he's even up for a job. They fired McDermott, I think, in Buffalo. So, and I don't know if it's true, but I was reading earlier, which I find crazy odd. But I read that Pittsburgh. I don't know if it's true, but I read that Pittsburgh is hiring Mike McCarthy as their head coach. Now, since the inception of the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they did hire Mike McCarthy, he will be their only four horsemen. Rome, Georgia. Only 500 people live there. Only 3 people are going to get that joke. That's an NWO parody skit. It's a really good one. It's an underrated one. It's where they're making fun of the 4 horsemen, but it's not in the ring. It's like in black and white, and they got Disco Inferno playing Mean Gene Okerlund. I think that's better than the in-ring one. Very underrated promo, bro. Classic. But bro, look at Trey Lance, man. How he bounced around, got traded. He was a former number 1 pick. Then Dallas gave up a 4th for him. They need to take Jerry Jones's phone away from him, man. I would throw a late round pick at this kid, or it might come to a point in the draft where his agent says, if you don't take me by this point, don't draft me, because especially at a quarterback, you want to go to a team where you're going to see the most action. You want to go to a team that needs a quarterback. You don't want a team, let's just say hypothetically, who got paid recently this past season? Purdy. I think Brock Purdy got paid like over 200 million or whatever. So let's just say if I was him, I wouldn't want to go to San Fran. I would want to go to a team that does not have a core. I would want to go to, let's say, Miami Dolphins, because basically Tua is on the verge of being cut. Tua is on. Tua is like, and that's not to make fun of him, but he has to have a thin skull. Granted, he's taken some shots, but my opinion, CTE is all about skull length and width, because you see some boxers that are punch drunk at 30. That's just another word. Then you see other boxers in their 60s, 65, 70, and they're completely fine. Same thing in the NFL. you see some players, it's really sad, but there's a clip. Look up Mike Allstott bussing with the boys. Just look up that. There's a clip. He can't string a sentence together, Mike Allstott. Granted, he was a battering ram at Purdue, I believe. And then he played probably a decade at Tampa. So he had a shitload of crazy hits. Check out this guy, Frankie McNeely, I think his name was. He was Tyson's first fight when Tyson came out of prison. Can't talk. Dude can't talk. So yet there's other guys that, my opinion, it comes down to your skull. I know the Pounceys were real. The Pouncey brothers were like really, really, really good friends with Aaron Hernandez, and they said this is them talking. They stated that they paid for the autopsy for him when he passed, and the doctor said he had a very listen. I think Aaron Hernandez had issues. Well, we can all say he had issues, but they were saying the doctor said he had a very, very thin skull, which could have caused him to go off the deep end. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But the way the quarterback market is, I don't want to go on and just rant with this video, but the way this quarterback market is, and the people who are playing this week, what could it hurt to throw a day 3 pick at a kid that great tape, doesn't make a lot of bad decisions, and he's good with his feet when he gets into trouble versus an older stationary quarterback? Think about it. You can get him for a 7th, let's just say hypothetically, and let's say he blows up, you could train him for a 4th. Listen, I'm going to put some videos in the comment section. I'm going to put some New Mexico State tape. Then I'm going to put some Vanderbilt tape. Because we all know when you're out here with the GWO, for life. The Shrine Bowl practices have been going on the last couple of days. Shrine Bowl game is Tuesday night. Also, too, listen, it's pretty much going to be bad weather all across the United States this tonight and this weekend. LSU have to stay off the roads, because if you're on the road when you don't have to be, and then you get into a jackpot, someone's going to have to risk their life to go help your life when you should have been home watching TV. Unless you're essential worker and got to be out there tonight, do not be out there. And it's going to be bad weather for a couple of days. That was just public service announcement. Over and out. Give me a minute to drop some tape.